account. So head over to Google and type in Google Ads, or you could search for ads.google.com. And once you're on the homepage, you're going to see this at the top most likely. They're giving away free money if you spend a certain amount. So click on Choose Now, or as you can see, it just scrolls down. And I recommend choosing this one. Most people are probably going to do $10 a day for a daily budget. That's going to be the least amount you're going to want to spend. So $10 a day for 60 days is going to add up to about $500. So then go ahead, click Claim Now. The first page is going to ask you about your business. Google uses this information to crawl your website and gather images, keywords. This way, they could kind of give you a catered approach. We're not actually going to care about the catered approach because we're going to want to have more manual focus control over the ads we create. So I'm going to create my business name in here. And it's optional, as you can see. And I'm going to paste my website. If you're going to use mostly phone calls or app-based landing pages, you can select those two, but I got a gut feeling you're going to go with the website. Click Next. And again, they're going to ask us more about our website. Again, they're going to use this for keywords. So use whatever you want. You can use ChatGPT, even if you want to add more information here. I'm just going to leave whatever they have. I'm not going to use this part, so I'm going to make sure this is unchecked. Again, I want to have more control. I want less assistance from Google. Click Next when you're ready. Okay, now we're getting more into the details of an actual campaign setup, and they're asking what our goals are. So we could have purchases, submitting a lead form, call leads, page views, or brand awareness. That one's very general. Page views is pretty general as well. Submit forms and phone calls are both lead-based. So if you are only caring about getting leads and not conversions of those leads, select one of those two. Most of the people I think out there are going to go with purchases. If you're selling something, whether it's a service or an actual product, a purchase will give you a good conversion. This way you can see if your ads are actually getting leads and converting all in one go. So if you do have a landing page that somebody goes to after they purchase something, you can put that in there, and that's the easiest way to track a conversion of a sale. If you don't have one, you're not sure what it is, there's two methods you could do. One, if you make a test sale on your own website and then just copy that URL up here and paste it down here of that purchase. If you're not sure and you want to do it later on, you could do setup manually using the code. So just for example, I'm going to have sold. I do want to show it real quick though. If you could see more, there's these other ones for leads as well as sales. But I think you're probably going to want to go with purchases. It's the most recommended one to go with for actual conversions. Click Next. As I mentioned earlier, Google likes to do a catered approach, and that's what they're doing here. They have a theme-based setup now, which basically puts you in their Power Max. That's their all-inclusive ads, meaning your ads are going to show on YouTube, on Google, display ads everywhere. We don't want that, especially starting out. When you start and you're a beginner, you want to just have a simple setup, get accustomed to Google ads, and then start leveling up from there once you feel comfortable. So in order to get to a more custom approach, we're going to do view other campaigns. As you can see, now we have the breakdown of what actual campaigns we want to do. So this is the Power Max, as I mentioned. They got Google, YouTube, Gmail, I think it's Google Dots, and I don't know what that is. We don't want that one. That's going to cost us more, but it makes Google more money, and they're almost a fortune in our company, so I think we're fine not giving them any more money than we need to. Search is how they started, and that's how we're going to start. This is a sponsored ad, and this is a search-based Google ad. So a local HVAC company traded one, and that's very similar to what we're going to do using this one. Video is on YouTube, so I'm sure you've seen a YouTube video before with an ad. I don't have to show that one. Display. That's going to be these ones here. It's basically those ugly banner ads at the top of usually a newspaper. So you're going to have a graphic if you want to go that route. If I click see more, here's the other two. We're definitely not going to touch those. Those are very more complex. So I highly recommend go and search. It's the foundation of a simple life in Google Ads, and that's what I recommend starting with. So a quick next. We've reached the most important part of any campaign. It's the keywords. But before we jump into them, we want to make sure we're selecting the correct keywords, right? A campaign is about one product, and you're going to advertise and try to attract customers using different language all about that one product. So let's get into how they're actually broken down before we decide what keywords are, because they're going to change based on the type of sales pitch we have. On Google's own website, I have the link down in the description if you want to find it yourself. But this is a visual breakdown of what a campaign is. The campaign global settings is all about your budget. And then below that, you have your ad group. And then below that, you have your ad keywords. So to create this as an example, Google has shown us they're selling a television for a campaign because it's one product per campaign. And if you're selling cameras, there'll be a different campaign. Well, as you can see, they have different ad groups. Ignore these two. There are two different ad groups for TVs. So you have flat screen TVs and plasma TVs. So your one ad group is all going to have keywords related to flat screens, like convenience of how thin they are. Plasma could be all about the picture quality and how they work amazing in dark rooms. So as you can see, you're going to use different keywords for flat screens and different keywords for plasmas. So this would be ad group A and ad group B, and they're all underneath campaign 1 for televisions. So going back to our Google Ads campaign to set up, real quick, this was just brought over from the previous page. So if you skipped it, it'll be blank for you, which is completely fine. And this is where we enter those keywords about the flat screen TVs, if that's what we're selling. So let's talk about the actual keywords themselves. When somebody goes to Google and types in, let's say, HVAC repair, the results are going to show the ad, and that's where we want to show up. So this ad is showing because the company thought people are going to search for a word HVAC repair, and they included that here. So once we search HVAC repair, they'll show up. Now, if you're not sure what words to use, you can just brainstorm or use ChatGPT, or I pulled up a different city, New York City, and this company popped up when I did HVAC New York City. So you can use other companies as inspiration to figure out what people are searching for and how they're showing up. But it's not also so simple. There's different keywords out there called keyword matches. So if you click on a question mark, it'll show you there's broad match, phrase match, and exact match. So let's say people you think are searching for HVAC repair. That's going to be a broad match. And that casts the widest net. Your ad could show up for loosely related terms, but it risks wasting money. So if you are going to use the broad match approach, you want to do only 1 or 2 broad match keywords per ad group. Otherwise, your ads are going to show to people that aren't actually interested in buying your product, and you're just wasting money. On the screen, I'm showing you kind of what would happen if someone uses a broad match keyword for HVAC repair. Your ad may also show if somebody searched for furnace repair, furnace installation, AC repair, or heat issues. The next one up is the phrase match. So this one is a little bit more narrow than broad match, but it's still pretty generic. So say somebody searches for HVAC repair near me, your company will still show up for HVAC repair. Just a heads up, broad match, these ones here are a little bit more cheaper than phrase match, and they both show up about the same amount of time. Now, the best one of all 3 is the HVAC repair. This one is the most precise. Your ad will only show when somebody searches almost exactly what you type. And this usually brings in the higher quality traffic. It's people who are searching for the pain that you're going to solve their problem. It used to be exactly the same word. So somebody repair HVAC, it would not show up. But Google is getting more liberal, and they're now doing based on context and the intent of the search. So as you can see, this one here, this example, if somebody did HVAC repair and we have an exact match, we might show for repair HVAC, or if they misspelled it, we have repaired HVC. So this is a beginner's tutorial. I recommend to start with only the exact match, and as you get more advanced, you could go from there and maybe get into broad match or phrases. I'll get into negative keywords. These are things where you don't want to include, like free HVAC repair. Unless you're doing that, you don't ever want to show up, because the people who are searching for that are probably not going to want to pay for anything, which means they're wasting your money on the ads. Next up is we're going to make sure our keywords are only attracting the type of customers we want from certain locations, right? So right now, my location is doing all countries and territories. I don't want that because, say I sell clothing on Shopify, it gets more complicated when you ship internationally. So say I want to do just United States, but then I realized, you know what? I sell hoodies and other clothing that's only good for people who live in cold areas. So I could do custom locations where a cold area would be St. Paul, Minnesota. So I could include that one. And you could add a lot more. As you saw, you can also exclude one. This would make sense because say you're a plumber in Dallas, but there's no reason to pay for clicks from somebody from New York. That's why you would want to exclude somebody. Next one up is language. English is by default, but probably changes based on your country. And then there's audience segments. With audience segments, you can narrow it down even more to demographics such as age, gender, income, or as they're showing, for example, homeowners. Just be careful of this, because if you go too narrow, you might be excluding potential customers, and Google's not omnipotent, so they might be wrong in how they classify people. I'm sure you never actually told Google, hey, this is my demographic. They guess based on your interactions with different websites and cookies they store on your computer. I brought up this funnel image here just because I'm sure you've heard that other YouTubers and online people say the more specific you are, the more expensive your ads will cost. And if you look at a sales funnel, right, at the very top, that's going to be generic, and you're going to try to get cold leads there, hot leads, whatever. And the more down you go, the more niches you're going to be. So it makes sense that the top of the funnel is going to be cheaper because there's more people, and who knows if they're going to buy from you. But it's actually better to go lower in the funnel and get more niche down. It's better to pay more for Google ads. Think of it this way. By narrowing down your target demographic means you are only advertising to the people that are converting and buying. It's really quality over quantity. A great example of this is Pepsi running an ad targeting all soda drinkers, so more towards the top of the funnel. But that includes people who are Coca-Cola fans. Maybe they might convert some people, but generally most Coke drinkers are not going to buy Pepsi. It'll cost Pepsi more to target these current fans of Coke than if they just straight out advertise to only Pepsi drinkers. Instead of trying to convert people, it's much more advantageous of Pepsi to spend their money getting people already like them to buy more and more frequently. Scrolling down more, there's targeting and observation. Observation is recommended because targeting only shows your ad to people matching your criteria above for your segments. Observation allows the Google AI to just observe who is viewing your ads and actually clicking on them. This way it learns to show your ad only to people who are actually going to click on the ad. Remember, Google only gets paid if somebody clicks on your ad, so they definitely want that to happen. And going down, I recommend actually not doing these ones, especially the display network, because we're not ready for that yet. And Google Search Partners, that's for other sites like ask.com, likehost.com. You don't want to be on those ones. They're not very high converting, so they're just kind of just a waste of your money. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and click done. And now we got all 4 of these and we're ready to click next. Next up is actually creating the ad that people see. An example again was the HVAC repair service. So the final URL is when somebody clicks on our ad, where's it going to take them? So you don't, like right now you can see mine as just going to our general website. What you want to is go to an actual product or landing page. This way they're about 1 click away from a call to action where they purchase something. Once we have that established, we have our headlines. It says we have 0 out of 15. These are the headlines, the things in blue. That's this 24/7 receipt HVAC repair. This whole thing is one headline. So the key things about headlines is you want to make sure you're attracting your customer. And in writing these, you want to speak directly to them using a 3-part framework. That is, including the problem. You highlight the issue your customer has, such as the last-minute emergency repairs for their HVAC, their furnace. The solution, show how you fix it. And they do it by being 90 minutes away and they're 24/7, so it's a feature. And then you have the call to action, call us. As you can see over here, all this text keeps changing. That's because Google has what's called a responsive search ad, and it tests different variations of anything you write in the headlines and descriptions. This way you're really targeting all these different kind of demographics. We added and gave Google a couple screens back. Over time, once Google figures out which actual ads and which order of words that these people click on, they're going to show those ones more and they'll drop off the other ones that are just not working. So to give Google the most amount of chance to do this, you want to use at least 2 descriptions. That's these down here. And up here, we want to do 10 out of 15. Now, I break up that 10. I would break it down to 3 with just general keywords, 4 of them calls to action, and 3 giving the benefits with features. This will signal to your customers that you've identified their pain and you have a solution. And that's exactly what these guys did here. So this one is 100% all about the features as well as the call to action. Now down here is this text. And this is the description, and that's what they would put down here. Now I know I just asked you to create 10 headlines and 2 descriptions. So if you're not really sure what to put, do exactly what I just did. Google what you think your customers are going to search for, and then use this as inspiration. Don't copy it exactly, but use it as something where you can take it and change the words just slightly so you're saying the same exact thing, but it doesn't look like you're 100% copying. If you also can't figure out, there's down here at the bottom, view ideas. And Google just has a whole bunch of different phrases, etc. You can use. Remember when I said these are dynamic and they keep changing because they're responsive? So if we're going to do something very similar to 27 repairs, and we could say we're 20 minutes away, $50 flat fee. Okay. You'll notice it has all 3 of them, but they'll keep changing what order they are in. See? Say we know that our customers, no matter what, want 24/7. That's the most important thing. We have to go here and pin it and select it as the first position. Now I'll self-update, and 24/7 repairs will stay there, and just these 2 will change. That's pretty cool. As I mentioned with the HVAC company, they have this text down here, and that's what we put down here. So if we're to recreate that ad, we can put it. What will be most important for somebody who's looking for a furnace repair? We can say 50 years of experience. What else did they say? 5-star reviews. That's really good too. We'll say 5-star reviews. from 20 million or whatever that is. 1 year warranty, all service. Okay, people love that, especially when it comes to house repairs. Wait, I'm at a 0 there. As you see, we got all 3 of them down here now, and it's going to keep changing them. But I think most people are going to always want to see 1 year of service, 1 year of the warranty. So I'll put that as position 1. Sign with 24/7 repairs and 1 year warranty on all services, always showing in this first spot. Okay, so that's headlines and inscriptions. And then we have the site links and display path. So the site links is what these are, the 9-minute response and the highly reviewed. This brings them to a landing page about these, basically. I don't think it's necessary for mine, and I think you get the point, so I'm going to skip that display link. So right now I've just guys to proper.com, even though we want ours to /product. So if you do want to show it, you can then put product here. It's self-updated, and there it is. So whenever we're ready, we click next. Okay, our last topic is regarding money and your budgets and bidding. So budget is often where people overthink things. And simple truth is you don't need to spend $1,000 to get started. You basically want a budget of about $10 to $20 per day, and you run it for at least about a week to see what's working. Once you start getting more leads and more sales, you actually change things up and scale to higher dollar amounts per day or lower it if you think you're overspending. As for bidding, Google offers these different kinds of strategies. They have conversion, commercial value, clicks, and impression share. A lot of people see some tutorials online regarding clicks. And if you do clicks, you're going to want to do a maximum. This way you can never spend an insane amount of money on a certain day, right? So you want to cap that. So keep that in mind if you go with clicks and you set a max. Okay. It recommends conversions. And with conversions, you'd set a target cost action. If you want to learn more about conversions and target cost per action, right click on this and go to opening tab. This way you can read it a lot bigger. If you just click out of here, it's going to be smudged. So on this page here, it's going to give us more information about our goals, campaign goals, and how to actually accomplish that, as well as the ROAS. This is return on ad spend. This is the money we're spending on our ads. And it has stuff with seasonality, etc. Okay. Once you're satisfied with this part, whether you can do conversions or clicks, go ahead and click next. And now we're at our budget. So it's recommended $137.68, and that's per day. But we don't have to do that. We could set our own custom if we want to. And as I mentioned, it changes. It's more of an average. So you can just do between $10 and $20 at the minimum. So let us go ahead and hit 20 if you round number. And it says we're lower than other advertisers, so they're saying we're not going to show, but I don't believe them. So we're going to hit it next. And I just want to reiterate on the last page, if you do set a low number and you don't see any kind of results, you can always slowly add to it. And if you are seeing more results, you can keep adding more and more until you find a good balance. But with this page, it just wants our credit card details so we can actually pay for these ads. So go ahead, put them in, and then go submit. And then we'll go to the actual dashboard, behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so now we're at the dashboard. And what we're going to do is go at the upper top right here and click on campaign number 1. That's the one we just created, and it allows us to see all of the metrics about our campaign. So whether people clicked on it and the impressions, impression is just somebody actually saw our ad, but didn't actually click on it. I would say everything's empty because we just built this. And a cool map down here is, like I said, we targeted just Minneapolis, Minnesota, and it shows actually where about people are clicking from. I think that's pretty cool, right? So I did mention earlier, keywords are the backbone of all this. So let's go to our tools, go to Keyword Planner, and this is another way to find more keywords and see what other people are actually using and what people are searching for. So if you click on that and we just type in HVAC repair, click Get Results. And it's going to have all these metrics over a monthly period of how often they're searched for. So it's 100,000 to 1 million. It's pretty high. The change over 3 months, year-over-year change, if it has high competition or not, and cost. So a good rule of thumb is pick the highest cost. We'll say it's $12. And find the middle ground between that and the lowest. So the average between the two. So we'll say that's about $10. So we won't use $10 for our max bid, at least. You can go over if you want, but you want to do at least $10. But if you click this to grab them all, you actually download it to a Google Sheet or CSV, and then you could kind of read it in a bigger Excel document, all one big full screen. Also, you could do negative keywords. So if you ever want to shy away from something, it's kind of like the excluding of people. You can exclude the keywords you don't want to be attached to. I think I mentioned earlier using the word free. So you would add free here. You don't ever want to be associated with the word free. Okay, so I clicked up here again to go back to these two. And if you just want to see how much people are searching for over a monthly time to kind of forecast, you can search HVAC repair. And it gives us just very similar to the last one, but instead of being a keyword tool, this is more just like the same, how many people are searching for things and the changes, etc. And lastly, if you want to create a whole new ad group, remember in our analogies, we had the TVs with the flat screen and plasma. So we just made the whole campaign and one ad group with flat screens. Now we want to make one for the plasma. So ad group 1 was the flat screen. If we go to the pencil, we do a new ad group, and this is how we do it for the plasma. And you want to make sure, instead of just doing ad group 1 and 2, you want to be more descriptive. Okay? And if you want to make a whole new campaign, so remember we had televisions was one campaign, cameras, which is a different product, is a different campaign. You go to the plus sign and go to campaign. And that's how you redo everything basically we just did all over again. Oh, actually, real quickly, I do want to mention that in case you set all this up and you don't like it, or for whatever reason you want to pause it, this enable button is click that and go to pause. And this way you don't have to worry about anything. But while I'm on this page, I do want to reiterate that these campaigns are not a set it and forget it. So check these regularly, especially on a weekly basis. Check your click-through rate, your cost per click, and your conversions. Certain keywords aren't working, change them up. Also pay attention to your landing pages. If you're getting a lot of traffic to your website or whatever, and they're just not buying, that means it's on your website's end. So fix the words you used, make your call to action more clear or bigger if it's a button. Finally, connect your Google Ads to your Google Analytics or your CRM to see the full journey of everything, and you'll have a better insight of what is working and what's not and what you need to change. So congratulations, you did it. You set up your campaign, you're ready to rock. If you're using Shopify or any kind of story and you want to track your conversions the way I set it up, you want to head over to Shopify and you could type in Google, and it should pop up their app. It should pop up their app, and you go ahead and install it. And this is the fastest and easiest way to connect your Google Ads with your Shopify account. And you could track your conversions nice and easy here. Now, this video is kind of long enough, so if this is the route you want to go, I'm going to put in the description a link to a guide called Grow My Ads on YouTube, and he does an excellent job within 15 minutes going through this the settings on this app So I don't want to double the video by doing so. And the very final piece of advice I have to give you is if you are selling something like Shopify, it's probably going to be a physical clothing item or something like that. If you see, there's the sponsored posts here on Google as well. Those are from Google's merchants account system. That's a whole separate video as well. So this video here by Ivan, he runs through how to set up a Google merchant account and then how to create these ads too. They're pretty much the same as the ones we just did, but since it's a product, Google allows you to add more information to it. And as you can see, they're more visually based. So go ahead and check out his video in the description. Otherwise, that's it. That's the complete walkthrough for creating your first Google Ads campaign. Just remember to start small and stay focused on search ads first. Test your different copy and modify things over time, especially your keywords. Patience is definitely a virtue in this. I hope you found this video helpful. Go ahead and like it if you did. This video here is for Facebook's Meta ads. I walked through a very similar tutorial, but that's it for this one. Best of luck.